Early voting is underway, and more than 20 million votes have already been cast in the race for the White House. NPix 11 is your local election headquarters, and early tracking numbers show more Republicans are taking part in early voting.
Yeah, of course, all eyes on the battleground states, right? She'll be the deciding factor in the election. Kamala Harris will be at a town hall tonight in Philly, while JD Vance will be at one tomorrow in Detroit, hosted by NewsNation's very own Chris Cuomo, who joins us this morning to discuss this really razor-thin race. So good to see you, Chris. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It's
Chris,
good to be with you.
Let's talk, first off, great get tomorrow with that town hall. Looking forward to seeing that program. But let's talk about the early voting numbers first and foremost, because they are coming out in droves on the Republican side of things. Are you surprised by that?
No. And just to be fair, rare in my business, right? Anchors always want to take credit for everything. NewsNation got JD Vance and the Trump campaign to want to do this because the outlet, which is obviously we're brothers and sisters here, X and NewsNation, both under the Nexstar banner, is overweighted independent. And in such a tight race, I don't know how you ignore that market. So despite me being the host, JD Vance took it up. And my read on the numbers is a plus minus. Here's the plus. Two points of plus. One, participation is good. Okay, we need more of it. Second, this is a nod towards the GOP's ground game, which is a question mark in this. Can they get out their vote? The irony here is Republican turnout would be presumptively good for Donald Trump, and yet he's a reason that people weren't voting early, especially by mail, because of a lot of the nonsense he spread about the last election. And they do still lag on the mail side, mail-in side, which is still an advantage for Democrats. But we have to see what the flow is between now and a week from now to really know if early voting is just the same people who are going to be there on Election Day showing up early or a bigger population.
Yeah, I mean, they're really trying to jam things in right now. I mean, all eyes right now on the swing states. Vice President Kamala Harris, she crisscrossed Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania with Republican Liz Cheney. And then Barack Obama, he made stops in Wisconsin and Detroit, doing a little rap in there. And do you think that this is making a difference for the Democratic Party?
Your question, Hazel, literally knocked my it just floored me. It's so incisive. So look, here's my take, okay? This race is not won on the basis of what people think about one person or the other, okay? If this is a person-for-person analysis, Harris should win. And yet I keep saying I believe this is Trump's race to lose. And I know a lot of the experts say I'm wrong. And by the way, I have been wrong a lot. I'm not a prognosticator. But I don't think you win by saying Trump is this bad thing or Harris represents this bad thing. This is about a grievance election. People are upset about their pocketbook. They're upset about what they see in government. When that is going on, just attacking the other person isn't enough. You have to create a coalition of the willing who want what you're about. And that on the right is enragement. People are enraged by things. On the left, they're asking them to do something harder. Engagement. People who want to get together to help make a difference. That's tougher.
Yeah, which is why we could also see Kamala Harris kind of moving from some of her positions, right, a little bit more towards the middle because of that, because of exactly what you're talking about, Chris. But then we have former President Donald Trump, because you're talking about in the numbers, right? When you look at it, he's hosting this town hall with Latino voters in South Florida, making this appeal for the working class, right? And one would think, when you look at it, that Latino voters and black voters may go to Kamala Harris, but that is shifting a bit. And now we're seeing Donald Trump wearing a McDonald's apron, right, to kind of reach out to this working class. How do you kind of look at all of this with the McDonald's thing, Latino and black voters going towards Donald Trump? And what do you make of all of that at this point in time?
Look at this, another one. You just knocked my phone.
Man, this is
you know, these questions are hard hitting.
Give me a break. What is it with you picks people? What is going on? Or maybe when I gave my son the case to my phone, it was a mistake. So here's my take. Okay, look, anybody who's super confident about what's going to happen in the election is shining you on. Okay, because I haven't covered one this close since 2004. Maybe 2000, even though we thought it was going to go a different way than it wound up going based on the polling. So, look, Latino voters and black voters are not the same, except that both, as a generality, are worried about their families and their communities. But the Latino community, it does not surprise me at all that you have seen continued attrition to the right. Why? Because the right has taken ownership of values. Now, you can be angry about that and say, what are you talking about? Trump this, Trump that. I'm just telling you in terms of narratives, that's what's going on. And if you are into the values argument, that is in the lane of Latinos. Strong family system, strong religious background, happen to be conservative in a lot of ways. So to see cultural peel off to me is not surprising. And the issue of immigration is a two-edged sword for the Latino population. One, a lot of them, most of them overwhelmingly got here either by birth or coming the right way. They don't like a system that rewards doing it the wrong way. And there's a stigma on them because so many of the people coming across illegally are Latinos. The black vote is different. The black vote is heavily concentrated in population areas, and that's about economics and crime and what you represent to them. You push defund the police, the left flank of the Democratic Party, you lose in a national election. So that's my play on those two demographics.
All right, let's talk quickly then about tomorrow. You'll be in Detroit hosting that town hall with vice presidential candidate JD Vance. Quickly, though, did you extend the same invitation to the Democratic Party?
Me? No, I hate the Democrats. No, I'm kidding. We have been inviting everybody the whole time, okay? Anybody can call in. It's a low bar because, look, since the pandemic, Hazel, you know this, nobody cares. I would have never been allowed to be on picks like this before the pandemic. You would have been like, get your lazy big butt in a car and get into the studio like everybody else. But now we're like this. So you want to call in? Great. You want to Zoom? Great. There's a very low bar for just giving the audience access, right? Trump, we've invited many times. Biden, we had invited. Harris, we've invited. Walz, we've invited. JD Vance took the opportunity. And Walz has one right now. So remember, though, it's not an interview. It's not a debate. It's not me versus Vance. It's a town hall, and it's my favorite format because I think it really is helpful to voters to see how these candidates exchange with people just like you.
Right. Yeah, and it's the questions coming from the audience. Hey, Chris, good stuff. We'll be watching. And I hear you're coming back on Wednesday. So, you know, you get the phone case, all right?
I'm not going to be able to come back if I don't get my setup right.
Right, exactly. And be sure to tune into Chris's live town hall tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on NewsNation. It'll also be streaming live on X. Chris, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.